Good morning. On behalf of the entire Connecticut College community, I want to welcome you to today's commencement ceremonies. The Reverend Aracelis Vasquez Hay, one of our college chaplains, will begin our celebration today with a call to community. After this invocation, we will all join together in singing America the Beautiful. You will find the words on the last page of your program. And finally, to make this ceremony as elegant and seamless as possible, please make sure to silence your cell phones. Reverend Vasquez Hay.
Good morning. Let us take this time at the start of our commencement to acknowledge this very moment and to embrace our beloved community. I invite you now to reflect and to pause. Today we remember with honest gratitude that those graduating did not get here by accident. This has been a long journey that started before anyone arrived at Connecticut College. We take time to remember all those who have encouraged, taught, nurtured, prayed, and paid that we could witness this moment. We give thanks for the proud parents, grandparents, guardians, and familia, family. We give thanks for the teachers, administrators, mentors, and professors. We give thanks for the faithful friends. At this crossing place, we look back over the years of study at Connecticut College, the papers, exams, classes, deadlines, extensions, relationships, road trips, Floralia weekends, Camel Olympics, sleepless nights, laughters, and even sadness, and we give thanks. At this crossing place, I invite our graduates to look ahead with anticipation as strong leaders guiding with intelligence and kindness, as inspired thinkers creatively seeking positive change, as dedicated citizens and volunteers ready to work for justice, and as active members of new communities ready to share your gifts and purpose. During today's commencement, may we stand together on the edge of possibility as we pause to drink in the deep sense of accomplishments and new beginnings. Amen. And now we will rise for the singing of the American the Beautiful. Leading us today will be Julian Gordon and Philip Pacelli from the class of 2014.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream, thy seas beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undreamed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to see you all here on this beautiful, beautiful morning and to be able to welcome you, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished honorees and guests, faculty and staff, and most important, parents, family members, and all of you soon-to-be graduates of this remarkable institution. It is my great honor to declare the 96th commencement ceremonies of Connecticut College now open. Today's ceremony will unfold according to tradition in several parts. You will hear an address by a specially chosen member of the class of 2014. You will see the awarding of special honors to 2 other graduating seniors. You will observe the Connecticut College Medal being presented to 2 very notable members of our extended college community. You will see an honorary Doctor of Letters conferred on today's commencement speaker before having the privilege of hearing his address. And then, the main reason why you are all here today, you will witness the conferring of 2 master's degrees and 461 bachelor's degrees upon the beautiful, talented, accomplished, driven, and formidable class of 2014. This is a great day and a particularly meaningful one for me because it marks my very first commencement as president of Connecticut College. As many of you know, I arrived on this campus at the beginning of January and had my inauguration only last month. And although I took office as you seniors were entering your final semester here, I have to say I feel quite close to you as a class. You welcomed me in the warmest possible way, and it was through you that I began to understand firsthand the meaning of a Connecticut College education. I made it a personal goal, in fact, to meet as many of you as I could before today. And so we have had conversations in office hours and specially scheduled meetings. We've corresponded by email. We have discussed funding for special projects and debated the future of the curriculum. We have met at athletic events, art openings and performances, at TEDx Connecticut College, and even Floralia. That's right. We have enjoyed small dinners together in your houses, or large banquets prepared by a few of you with significant culinary ambitions. We have shared a stage to welcome admitted students and their parents, and a platform to address our U.S. Senator. We have greeted each other formally at meetings of the student government and casually at Harris or Crow or places in downtown New London. We have shared the sadness of a faculty member's memorial service in Harkness Chapel and the unbridled joy of performing a cappella in the same space. And through the totality of these encounters, you have allowed me to see through your eyes what makes this place so special. You have made me love Connecticut College as much as you do. So what are the things that I have seen? I could, of course, describe many aspects of the excellent education we offer, but there are 3 qualities I want to call out that make up what I would call the Connecticut College difference. The first and most basic is the rare quality of community on this campus. This is a place where students and faculty and staff care deeply about each other's well-being and success. Connecticut College is known for its socially responsible student body, but from what I can see, This sense of responsibility is directed just as powerfully toward the campus community as it is toward nonprofits and NGOs across the globe. And that's important because it creates a unique atmosphere here, a culture of generosity. A recent study we conducted showed that you students, by comparison to your counterparts at peer institutions, see the purpose of your education more as an opportunity to give back to the world than as a chance to get ahead in the world. If that is a distinguishing feature of a Connecticut College graduate, then I think we are indeed doing something right. This generosity extends to our faculty and affects, in turn, the nature of the learning environment, which is the second quality I want to mention, the extent of the intellectual and artistic collaboration between faculty and students at this college. You students have had the benefit of working with a faculty that is unrivaled in its commitment to excellence in teaching and scholarship and service, which means a unique commitment to you. Many of you have worked in labs, done archival research, co-authored papers and book reviews, presented posters at national conferences, published articles and book chapters, and produced original creative work with faculty mentors. All of you, I think, have experienced the thrill of thinking deeply and critically, in effect, of thinking through a problem with an intellectual partner in order to produce a new idea. Yes, you have worked hard, but as one of you put it to me recently, these collaborations have given you something more, a sense of endless possibility and opportunity. The idea of being entrusted with both social and intellectual responsibility brings me to the third quality I would like to call out, and that is the atmosphere of mutual respect and accountability that defines the ethos of this campus. Some of you might think of it in terms of our almost 100-year-old honor code. Others might speak of our fiercely held value of shared governance. But no matter how you define it, this expectation has had a profound effect on your education. We have asked you to govern yourselves by being accountable both to your own actions and to the actions of fellow students. And we have asked you to share in the governing of the college by participating in discussions on many issues, from financial planning to the future of the curriculum. At a recent meeting, a student commented that during the course of her 4 years here, there was never a time when the ideas she brought forward seriously were not taken seriously by members of the faculty or the administration. That is a testament to how much this college believes in your leadership. So why am I saying all this? Is it to make you feel even more regret at having to leave this wonderful place, this utopia you affectionately refer to as the Connecticut College bubble? No, that's not it at all. My point is quite the opposite. It is to remind you that these special qualities that have informed your experience here as students, these qualities that account for the Connecticut College difference, now define something about your difference. You may be leaving this beautiful hill, but the hill is not leaving you. The lessons you have learned from this community about generosity and collaboration, about personal accountability and leadership, will remain long after the specific content of your papers and projects have faded from memory. It is the deeper imprint of this learning and these values that will ensure your success, making it possible for you not only to achieve in your personal lives, but also to bring that accomplishment into whatever organizations you're a part of, to make a difference in your future communities as you have made a difference here. For that, in the end, is what we mean and what it means to put your liberal arts education into action. And this is the last point I want to make. The words of our mission statement are worth emphasizing today because they too refer to what lies before you. They are not so much about the compressed interval that you have just spent on this campus, but about the expansive duration that is the rest of your life. In my inaugural address last month, I reflected on our mission when speaking about the long line of thinkers, doers, and leaders that this college has produced since its founding over a century ago. Graduates who used their knowledge to make a contribution to their future fields. Graduates who used their energy to change the world. Graduates who were destined to be part of the solution. You belong to that fine lineage, and it gives me hope as I look out today to know that the great spirit of this institution will go out with you into the world to bring the positive change that we so desperately need. We are counting on you for that. There's one final thing that I want you to consider as you gaze across this beautiful expanse on your last day as a student at Connecticut College. It is this, that 100 years ago, the vista that you now behold was a barren hilltop. It is only because a small group of idealistic women and men sought to address a social inequity that this college and everything it stands for came into being. And it is because of a series of leaders with similar conviction that the college has become the beautiful and inclusive community that we now enjoy. You have been nurtured, in other words, in a place that continues to believe that all things are possible. As you step out from this place to face the challenges that lie before you, keep this belief close to your heart. Class of 2014, we love you. We are proud of you. We know you will represent us well as you move forward in the world. Thank you for bringing your talent, your passion, and your idealism to this special place. I wish you great happiness and success in your life after Connecticut College, and I look forward to seeing you back here often and to welcoming you home. Thank you very much. And now we've arrived at the part of the program where we will hear directly from a member of the class of 2014. I should explain that there's a tradition at Connecticut College of selecting the senior orator through a competitive nomination process open to the entire senior class. Among a very impressive group of nominees, the student you are about to hear stood out for his poise, his ideas, and his writing. You won't be surprised that he is graduating today with a degree in English, but he also exemplifies the kind of student I was just talking about, someone with a will to give back to others. He has spent much of his time at Connecticut College doing just that. He served as co-chair of the Student Advisory Board of the Department of English and as a House Fellow in Plant House during the past year. Originally from Groton, Connecticut, he has kept his ties to the local community as well, working with children through the Groton Parks and Recreation Association and through the Boys and Girls Clubs of southeastern Connecticut. Complementing his academic and community work, he is an actor and musician who has played in the jazz band, delighted audiences with his own band, the B-Sides, and enjoyed roles in films and plays on campus and in the local community. With that combination of intellect, engagement, and talent, I know he will go very far. Won't you join me in welcoming the senior class orator, Colton Harris?
Oh, wow. Made me sound so good. I was wondering who they were talking about for a minute. Thank you so much, President Bergeron, for that wonderful introduction. Things like that just remind me just how sort of undeserving I really am, but I've been made worthy, and it's completely humbling. So I thank my class. I thank everyone who's ever done anything for me, and I have a special message for you all today, and I just hope that it touches your heart in some way. Like children, let us color outside the lines. Let us look at the pictures and create our own story, knowing that there's more than what's written on the pages. Let us imagine the world as we wish it to be. let us see that we are indeed the very change the world is yearning for. Let us see the dirty canvas and make a masterpiece. As a child, you most likely had a very bizarre response to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? For me, the answer was always a lion. But I could only get away with that one until 7th grade, when I was told to set more realistic goals. What I needed were more adult aspirations void of childlike imagination. Up until today, it seems as though our lives have been shaped by institutions and systems that have implicitly told us to stop dreaming for the sake of being realistic, to put our imagination to the side so that we can grow up. Our younger selves have been told that we know little about life, that our fantasies are a misguided practicality. And so, here we are, at a crossroads, on the brink of the abstract point of adulthood, realizing in many ways we don't feel very grown up at all. It can cause us to feel overwhelmed and powerless, as though we are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Our imaginations are potentially shattered by the loneliness of expectation. We anxiously await to be thrown into what everyone calls the real world, where our achievements here will go unnoticed, as if they were the peak of our lives. As a class of 2014, we are in a position to change the world, but not in the most conventional way. We have the opportunity to be historic. We can impact the trajectory of humanity as long as we do one thing. Stay true to the genius within us. It may come as a surprise to you that you could in fact be a genius. I'm here to tell you that you are. It isn't an exclusive trait. It isn't reserved for the 1 in a million. It is yours for the exploring. Now, it is our responsibility to figure out exactly what our genius is, how it looks, and what its purpose is. It is now in our hands to nurture that genius. When we consider the great thinkers and leading innovators that dramatically changed the course of humanity, we see a consistent pattern. We know they never allowed anyone or anything to box them in. They were without a label, unable to be defined or classified. They were free dreamers. As we launch into the future, we should all be as free. Don't let your major confine you. Don't let what you've been told about your career options cripple you. Instead, be innovative. Pioneer new ways to be human with your genius. Let our generation be the one that breaks the chains of false limitations that bind us. Today, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself questions that will scare you. Don't let yourself off the hook simply because someone told you to aim only but so high. This may mean a few career changes. This may mean being without money for a while. It may mean leaving the place you call home to start a new one. Whatever it may be, we as Connecticut College graduates are equipped to face it. Yes, it will be scary. Yes, it will come with opposition, but as we endure, we will be made stronger. Friends, fear not the future. Fear not where you will be or how everything will work out. Instead, recognize the possibilities are truly endless. We are not graduating from Connecticut College to be ordinary. We are unique individuals that the world has never seen before. So we must diverge from the linear path and venture away from the scripted journey in order to offer the world what has been given to us. We can't let the burdens of generations before us suffocate our dreams and constrain our imagination. Don't let their fears immobilize our creative power to transform the lives around us. Let us leave here today and promise ourselves and each other that we will only surround ourselves with what will nurture us, what will make us better. Understand that, like ships, we are all out to sea, sometimes with an unclear destination, sometimes tossed by raging storms. But there will always be anchors to ground us along the way. This college will forever be one of those anchors. Our families, our friends, our professors, the people, the moments, and the precious milestones that help us reach our greatness, that define us as innovators. After we go our separate ways, take some time to look at yourself in the mirror. Ignite the flame that will jumpstart you to your genius. We must regain the childlike ingenuity that once made us so invincible. So, close your eyes, dream your wildest dream, and be bold. Bold enough to see its manifestation. Refuse to be thrown into the real world. Instead, gladly jump, with your arms held high and a smile on your face, knowing that you can fly. Connecticut College class of 2014, it's about time we stopped treading the ground when we know we have wings. So I encourage you. I encourage us all to, like children, color outside the lines. Look at the pictures and create our own story, knowing that there's more than what's written on the pages. Imagine the world as we hope it to be. Recognize that we are indeed the very change the world is yearning for. Let us all see the dirty canvas and make a masterpiece. Thank you, and all my love. And now, please welcome Dean of the Faculty, Roger Brooks.
Thank you, Colton. I'm very pleased to be here today to present the 2014 Oakes and Louise Ames Prize. The Oakes and Louise Ames Prize, named for President Emeritus Oakes Ames and for his wife Louise Ames, is given to a graduating senior who has completed the year's most outstanding honors study. The prize is offered by the trustees in recognition of the quality of academic achievement that Oakes and Louise Ames fostered during their 14 years of service to Connecticut College. This year's Ames Prize is awarded to Jyoti Jasmine Arvi. Will Jyoti please come forward? Jyoti is a Slavic Studies major, and she's receiving this award for her thesis, Gender in the Everyday Life of the Russian Home, based on ethnographic interviews conducted in Russian with 20 residents of Ufa, Russia, about their daily practices in the domestic sphere. Jyoti's thesis illuminates the social structures within the post-socialist Russian home in order to achieve a highly nuanced understanding of broader social relations in modern-day Russia. Associate Professor Andrea Lanoux, Chair of Slavic Studies, praises Jyoti's work, calling it a superb and impactful piece of undergraduate scholarship. Jyoti's thoroughly researched and extremely well-written thesis makes a significant and original contribution to an important field of study, and I'm pleased to present the 2014 Ames Prize to Jyoti Arvi. Carolyn Denard, Dean of the College, will now come forward to present the Anna Lord Strauss Medal.
Good morning. It is my privilege today to present the Anna Lord Strauss Medal. This year's medal is being awarded to Gabrielle Page Arrange. Gabby, will you please join me at the podium? Anna Lord Strauss was national president of the League of Women Voters from 1944 to 1950 and served Connecticut College as a trustee for the extraordinary term of 32 years. This medal is being presented in honor of Ms. Strauss to the graduating senior who has done outstanding work in public or community service, including service to Connecticut College. This year's winner, Gabrielle Orange, is an exceptional scholar and community activist who perfectly exemplifies the ideals of Anna Lord Strauss. A psychology major with an art minor, Gabrielle is also a scholar in the college's Honorary Center for Community Action and Public Policy. She is a Winthrop Scholar and a member of Phi Beta Kappa. Throughout her 4 years, Gabrielle has engaged in a broad range of public service and active citizenship, both on campus and within local, national, and global communities. As a recipient of a Davis 100 Projects for Peace Award, Gabrielle founded Amani Art, an art-based mentor program that fosters peace and a sense of empowerment among impoverished children and youth in Kenya. She continued with the project while studying abroad in Nairobi in the fall of her junior year, and then, with the support of the college's Minor Myers Junior Research Fellowship and the Honorary Center, she returned to Kenya to advance this work last summer. On campus, she has been a driving force in advancing the college's curricular revision and in involving students in this important work. Gabrielle speaks persuasively and eloquently on key subjects, from how to foster intellectual breadth, to the critical importance of civic engagement, to how best to make our community more inclusive. She is a tireless leader and scholar activist with a generosity of spirit who creates positive change. Her work honors the spirit of Anna Lord Strauss, and I am pleased to present the 2014 Anna Lord Strauss Medal to Gabrielle Page Orange. Congratulations.
Congratulations again to these exceptional students. And now we come to a point in the program where we recognize exceptional members of the extended Connecticut College family. And I would like to invite the chair of our Board of Trustees, Pamela Zilli, from the class of 1975, to join me for the presentation of the Connecticut College Medal.
The Connecticut College Medal was created in 1969 to mark the 50th anniversary of the college's first commencement. It is the highest honor that can be conferred on an individual for accomplishments in service that enhance the college's reputation and nourish its growth. Lee, may I ask? Should have asked him earlier. Lee Higdon, President Emeritus. Lee Higdon, as the 10th President of Connecticut College, you brought to the campus a palpable sense of aspiration, achievement, empowerment, and momentum. During your tenure from 2006 to 2013, you established a stalwart foundation for the college's second century. You made substantive investments in every aspect of the student experience. You increased the diversity and inclusiveness of the student body. You have brought great honor and distinction to Connecticut College. Your leadership enriched the learning experience of students, inspired faculty, staff, alumni, parents, and friends. The institution gained a new level of prominence during your tenure. You embodied the best qualities of a college president: vision, focus, wisdom, and energy. With tremendous affection and deepest gratitude, we confer upon you the Connecticut College Medal. We've got a double set.
And I now ask Linda Batter Monroe, class of 1976, and parent from the class of 2008, to join us at the podium.
Linda Batter Monroe, your extraordinary commitment as a Connecticut Superior Court judge to serving others and providing justice to struggling families has brought great honor and distinction to Connecticut College. As Chief Administrative Judge for Family Matters for the Superior Court of the State of Connecticut, your court has set new standards for accommodating the developmental needs of children, protecting witnesses, enforcing child support obligations, and upholding the rights of parents and grandparents. Your fearless sense of integrity is reflected in your life and in your career, and in your many decades of service to Connecticut College as a trustee, president of the Alumni Board of Directors, and class officer. You represent the best values that Connecticut College stands for: intellectual curiosity, academic excellence, equity, and service to others. We honor you for your exemplary and distinguished example, and with great pride, confer on you the Connecticut College Medal.
And now will the Dean of the Faculty, Roger Brooks, return to the podium for the conferral of the honorary degree.
I ask Noah Feldman to come forward, please. Thank you.
Noah Feldman. You are the Bemis Professor of International Law at Harvard Law School, a senior fellow of the Society of Fellows at Harvard University. In your work, you specialize in constitutional studies with particular emphasis on the relationship between law and religion, constitutional design, and the history of legal theory. You are the author of 7 books, as well as contributing writer for the New York Times Magazine and Bloomberg View. As a public intellectual, you engage in deep and inquisitive discussion of the ideas and issues that shape our lives and challenge our times. You bring complex issues forward and make them accessible to academics across disciplines and to diverse audiences throughout the country and the world. Your intellectual pursuits make you an inspiration to the Connecticut College community, which promotes global thinking across academic disciplines and encourages students to become politically concerned, socially engaged, and culturally sensitive. Connecticut College is proud to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. President Bergeron.
Professor Noah Feldman, in recognition of your many achievements and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and pursuant to their vote, I hereby confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the attendant rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Noah Feldman.
President Bergeron, President Higdon, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, without whom none of us would be sitting here, parents, friends, family, and above all, fellow, if I can say that, members of the class of 2014. Thank you very, very much, and think to yourselves how fortunate we are not only to have arrived at this moment, but to have this spectacular and glorious weather with which to greet it. With your permission, what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about what transitions are really like. Not just the celebration of transitions, which are wonderful things, but the actual transitions. And in order to do that, I want to begin by telling you a story about something that happened to me in January that was a little bit like a commencement. And it happened in Tunisia, which, if you've been following on your scorecard at home, is the place where the Arab Spring began in 2011, and is today the only place in the Arabic-speaking world where the Arab Spring and its hopes and aspirations are alive at all. In Tunisia, unlike every other Arabic-speaking country where people rose up and removed a dictator, they've actually managed, not without difficulties and challenges, to produce a functioning draft of a constitution, to hold elections, to debate the constitution, to consult the public about it, and most recently in January, to ratify it. And I had the extraordinary opportunity to visit Tunisia half a dozen times over the 2 years of the negotiation of the Constitution as an observer and occasional advisor, not that anybody necessarily was listening, on this extraordinary process. In January 10th to be exact, I was sitting in the observation deck of the National Assembly, and I was watching the final debate and vote on a provision of the Tunisian Constitution which states that women shall be guaranteed parity in all legislative bodies at any level of government in Tunisia. Now, if you think about it, a provision like that in the US Constitution would be truly revolutionary. A provision like that in the constitution of an Arabic-speaking 95% Muslim country, perhaps more than 95%, is even more remarkable. And the debate was an extraordinary thing to watch because it was conducted entirely by women, and they were on both sides of the issue. And indeed, they were on both sides of the issue among seriously religiously committed Islamist members who were women of the parliament. And the debate was intense, and there were women in hijabs, head coverings, arguing on both sides. And then the vote was held, and through the efforts of secularists and Islamists, all of them Muslims, the legislation, or rather the constitutional provision, passed. And in this extraordinary moment, really unlike anything I've ever seen in any constitutional process anywhere, after the vote, first the women and then everybody in the assembly spontaneously stood up, I won't ask you to stand up, and spontaneously began to sing the Tunisian national anthem. Somewhat out of tune, but that's beside the point. And there was not a dry eye in the house, and I can tell you that I was crying. Everyone in the room understood that this was a profound, significant moment, a kind of culmination of their revolutionary tradition. And I thought to myself, this is what a transition should look like. I had the dubious opportunity to work on the US process of advising the Constitution in Iraq in 2003, and let me assure you that at no point in that lengthy process did anybody stand up and spontaneously sing anything. So I thought to myself, this is what it's all about. This is a moment of true transition. We are seeing the future of an actually existing democratic country where secularists and Islamists alike can get along, where left and right can meet, where they debate and discuss. This is amazing. You have to pinch yourself because it seems so unrealistic. Again, even in our political system, it would be pretty extraordinary to see this kind of consensus. And I thought that is the ideal of a transitional moment. It was like a commencement ceremony or a graduation ceremony for the people of Tunisia who had participated in this process. Well, fast forward 48 hours later, when they were still working provision by provision through the same constitutional process. And I was sitting in the exact same spot, the nice view, and I thought, I had one of those weird moments where I thought I heard my name. And that's a very strange thing to think because this is a proceeding taking place in Arabic about the future of Tunisia, and I'm less than peripherally important to it. But sure enough, someone came over to me and said, "Did you hear them mention you?" I said, I thought I did, but I also thought I imagined it. What did he say? And my friend started laughing. He said, well, it was one of the peripheral members from the right wing of the parliament, and he's not in the governing coalition. And he said, there's a very dangerous man in this building, and he is an Islamist and a Zionist, which I thought was a nice combo. And his name is Noah Feldman, and you should watch out for him. And I looked at my associate, and I said, well, it's been a nice run. And we quietly got up and walked out of the parliament. And on the way out, the media started running after us with the microphones extended. And, you know, are you now, sir, or were you ever a member of the CIA, the Mossad? I said no. Seemed like the right answer, and it was also, as Henry Kissinger liked to say, it had the actual benefit of, the added benefit of being true. And I headed for the airport and breathed a sigh of relief as I got onto a plane. And for the next several days, I was on the front page of the Tunisian newspapers, and the inventions of my accomplishments were so remarkable and depressing that I actually sent it to my mother and said, look, you should be so proud of me. Look at all the things I've done. And there was a hugely important lesson in this. And the lesson was that these moments of celebration are important and meaningful and significant, like a commencement is, but they're not what a transition actually consists of. A real transition doesn't and can't just occur at the moment when you celebrate, throw your caps in the air, realize you're not paying tuition anymore, at least for a little while, and figure out what you're doing next. And the same thing that is true for us in our daily lives is also true for countries that are transitioning. We imagine that a written constitution solves all problems, in the same way that we imagine that a written piece of parchment solves all of our problems of our future. It doesn't. It can't. And the reason for that is that the next morning when you wake up, just a little bit hungover, I hope. I mean, I hope you're hungover, not, you know. You realize that your future is going to be constructed with the same tools that you had the day before. So in the history of a constitution, what this means is that the same people who were running the country before the ratification of the Constitution, the same people who can be elected by the public, who are supported, those same people will now have to govern, and they'll have to figure out how to get along, and they'll have to figure out how to implement the written Constitution. Because in the end, it's just a piece of paper, exactly the way a degree is just a piece of paper. And the celebration of its conferral, like a commencement, is an extraordinarily exciting and moving moment, but it's just a single moment isolated in life. Now, in constitutional studies, which is my field, we have a tendency to forget this because we obsess over the document before, during, and after its production and forget that there's actually a process of human engagement in which the Constitution lives or dies not based at all on what's written in it, but on how it will be practically implemented. So the provision of the Tunisian Constitution that gives women parity is written in such vague terms that it doesn't explain what kind of parity that will be. Does it mean that women will be guaranteed an equal number of seats? Does it mean they have to be an equal number of candidates? Does it mean they have to be an equal number of nominees by the different political parties? No one knows. And it'll be an intense fight and a political fight to figure out which is which, and that process will actually be the process of the Constitution. So when people tell you, this country ratified a democratic constitution, feel happy for them, but not too happy. Because they will have to work it out over the course of their actual lives. All transitions, I think, in real life are like this. You will be, in your futures, trying to work out exactly how to shape your lives, how to design them. You'll have to work with other people to do that. You'll have to draw on the relationships that you've built. You'll have to draw on the things that you've been taught, and you'll have to draw on the ideas that you've developed. Everything that you've been doing has been designed to prepare you for this, in just the same way that a constitutional negotiation process prepares a country. but none of what's been done for you can do the hard work of figuring it out ultimately. That's entirely up to you, and it's entirely your job. Now, I don't want to leave you feeling depressed, either about the future of Tunisia or much more immediately about your own futures. I was describing my planned remarks to a friend, and I said, well, I want to try to make the point that graduation is great, commencement is terrific, but, then life follows. And my friend said to me, yes, that's what they're afraid of. So let me end with a positive description of why all of this is a good thing. If your whole life were determined by what had happened previously, if all of your experiences in college added up to nothing more than an extraordinary moment in the sun, you would be limited, bound, constrained, and ultimately bored by the lives that you were going to lead going forward, because you wouldn't be free to make them. You wouldn't be free to shape them. The whole point of the liberal arts education, that fragile, extraordinary, valuable thing, which is being put in your hands and has been put in your hands, is to teach you to participate as full partners in the making of the world around you. And that, by definition, can only happen through your taking up the stuff and the substance of your future lives and shaping it and making it your own. So it's great to celebrate, and it's a relief that the moment of transition does not include within it all of the solutions and answers for what's going forward. Because you're celebrating the fact that you have these extraordinary tools that have been given to you in part by your faculty, but also have been built and constructed by you in partnership with them. And using those tools, you will go forward, you will succeed, you will occasionally have setbacks, you will overcome those setbacks, and you will keep on working at the solution. And that will be called being alive. And it will be good. I have tremendous faith in your ability to do all of those things. I'm very grateful to the college for asking me to speak today, and I'm extraordinarily proud of all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Feldman, so much for those very, very thoughtful and inspiring words and for being with us on this special day for the class of 2014. And thank you especially for not depressing them too much about their future. So we've now reached the point in the program where we will confer the degrees on the class of the 2014. So I invite Dean Brooks to come forward once again, this time to present the candidates for the Master of Arts degree.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts please rise? President Bergeron, the candidates standing before you have successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Masters of Arts and have been recommended for that degree by the faculty. I present them to you and ask that you, through the authority vested in you by the Board of Trustees, confer on them the degree of Master of Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Connecticut College and pursuant to their vote, I hereby confer on you the degree of Master of Arts with all its attendant rights and privileges, and I remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. In token thereof, I will present to you the diploma of the college.
Elise Bear Jones. Jessica Ray Newton.
I now call on Dean Denard for the presentation of the Bachelor of Arts degrees.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? President Bergeron, the candidates standing before you have successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and have been recommended for that degree by the faculty. I present them to you and ask that you, through the authority vested in you by the Board of the Trustees, confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Connecticut College and pursuant to their vote, I hereby confer on you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all its attendant rights and privileges, and I remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. In token thereof, I will present to you the diploma of the college.
Prashant Selvam, Class President. Lowell Cunningham Abbott. Adam Abraham. Sierra Miller Adams. Jenna G. Adler. Nana Echao Edekofi. Yesenia Aguila. Dana Beth Avalancy. Graham Auerbach Allen. Hafez Asaidi. Celia Alvarez. Morgan Chloe Amat. Justin Roland Anderson. Taylor Nicole Anderson. Jethro Jean Annalus. Gabrielle Page Orange. Emily Nicole Arner. Zoe Elizabeth Attridge. Emma Catherine Augustine. Matthew Starbuck Ayers. Paul Anthony Bacigalupo. Jyoti Jasmine Arvi. Benjamin Bajaj. Zachary Bertrand Balomenos. Margaret Lindsley Bangs. Peter Christos Bonos. Erin Rachel Barker. Catherine Mead Barker. Marissa Marie Barnard. Diana Monica Barriga. Travis Murcott Beach. Bailey Anastasia Bennett. Molly Ray Beanstalk. Dagna Camilla Bilski. Gregory Thomas Burkhofer. Jordan Michael Bishop. Carolyn Newell Bissix. Rachel Mary Bond. Robert Huntington Bowling. Augusta Kimberly Bolwell. Michael Sonder Bortnick. Annabella Boutte. Catherine Elizabeth Buzianis. Allison Evelyn Boyle. Shannon Rose Brady. Kai Alita Bresciani. Nora Matson Britton. Daniel V. Brown. Tandy Reinhardt Bryant. Mary Buchanan. Samuel Chase Buckman. Irene McGreevy Buchan. John Christian Bullitt. Sybil Jean Bullock. Kevin Lawrence Burt. Julia Claire Byrne. Kiara Jean Coffiero. Asia Calcano. Tracy Carolyn Caldwell. Marcus Anthony Calvinico. Lauren Julia Cameron. Alexandra Camerata. Catherine Fox Campbell. Ryan Mark Carbone. Allison Brooke Carini. Nicholas Ignazio Carluccio. Jeffrey Richard Carmichael. Caitlin Ann Cataldo. Savannah Carr Cheshire. Joy Chang. John Henry Corey. Nels Christensen. Caitlin Marie Simino. Natalie Merritt Clark. Kayla Coggle. Marissa Whitney Cohen. Hillary Mae Coleman. Madeline H. Conley. Allison Lee Cookson. Brooke Lancaster Cragen. Amanda Juanita Crawford. Julia Hadley Cristofano. Carrie Crocker. Susan Marie Cunningham. Justin Matthew Curtis. Kevin Michael DeShilly. Christopher Stoddard Dale. Ryan Patrick Daly. John Thomas Daniels. Gabrielle Dan Allel. John Christopher Dargan. Aaron Samuel Davis. Ryan Elizabeth Davis. Kyle Patrick Dawson. Patrick Michael Deegan. Margaret Christine DiGregorio. Emmeline Deal. Margaret Maureen DeYoung. Cole Johnson Delbick. Hugh Deniston Demers. Fath Mitu Diagne. Charles Landon Dickey. Laura Adriana Dietman. Christopher John Delicio. Casey Dawn Dillon. Brooke Taylor Dinsmore. John Werner Dronzek. Brett Berkeley Duboff. Haley Lambert Dumke. Courtney Autumn Dumont. Caroline Kimball Dylag. Kara Einbinder. William Crossan Einstein. Jason Samuel Elias. Anastasia Marin Elliott. Ashton Andrew Evans. Catherine Lynn Evans. Olivia Weeks Farrell. Abigail Julia Faulkner. Shay Fee. Kanaya Deborah Ferguson. Mark David Finnegan. Amanda Michelle Florian. Peter J. Flynn. Ava Foster. Everett Noble Fowle. Spencer Edward Francis. Kelly Ann Franklin. Jennifer Michelle Frias. Meredith Claire Friedman. Elaine Judith Frost. Jacqueline Mercedes Fulgham. Caitlin Tan Fung. Tara Nancy Gableman. Kira Murphy Gabo. Gwendolyn Rismeyer Galvin. Laura Garciduenas. Madison Elizabeth Garrett. Milton Frederick Garrett III. Caleb Juan Garza. Zachary Matthew Goucher. Sam Gewurz. Joseph Warner Gibson. Sebastian James Giglio. Samuel Porter Gill. Brian John Gilman. Grace Patricia Glynn. Carter Daniel Goffigan. Emily Allie Goldstein. Valentine Mary Goldstein. Nicholas Stewart Gollner. Julian Blake Gordon. Ainsley Gorga Highland. Helene Rose Goodrow. Amanda Zoe Greenbaum. Sarah Haynes Gridley. Grace Brian Griffin. Jamie Rachel Gross. Mark Harold Durand. Daniel Cathal Gutierrez. Bruce Nicholas Hake. Cassandra Marie Haynes. Tomorrow Hamano. Nora Alice Hanel. William Augustus Hardy II. Alec Christian Harris. Colton Hesse Harris. John Robert Hartgers. Timothy Hartshorn. William S. Hockey. Philip Ian Haynes. John Michael Hazard. Ellen Janice Hartline. Corina Del Carmen Hernandez. Peter Kelvin Heron. Leah Rowe Heyman. Isabel Catalina Hibbard. John Francis Heil. Sarah DeHaven Hitchcock. Andrea Grace Hoisington. Ariane Nicole Holden. Rylan James Hormel. Sarah Donovan Huckins. Patricia Hulbig. Megan Danielle Hulsart. Shayla Marie Reedy Huntington. Prince Stanislas Ibudu. Jem Islikcha. Kevin Sakal Ith. Mackenzie Dean Jackson. Alana Michelle Jamner. Katrina Lee Yondel. Hannah Rose Jeffrey. Rachel Rose Jerome. Dun Chen Zhang. Jake Junda. Leah Alexandra Collin. Emma Rebecca Kammerer. Stephanie Lynn Kangas. Timothy Frederick Cast. Barry Key. Michael Patrick Keene. Annalise Tora Johnson Keeler. Kevin John Kelly. Nicholas Lawrence Kenzie. Amit Kinha. Tony Knapp. Caroline DaCosta Knobloch. Yumi Kovic. Eric LaFrance. Emile Leilov. Eli Benjamin Landau. Slow down. Colin Russell Lang. Linnea May Langhammer. Julia Morgan Larson. Epi Lau. Tara Ann Law. Liam Charles Lawson. Michael Jeffrey Leduc. Junhee Lee. Kristen Haley Lewis. Danielle Dominique LaRue. Natalie Martine Liner. Shiva Krishna Gudlingala. Zhibang Liao. Bryn Angela Lockyer. Catherine Elizabeth Logan. J. Patrick Lonsdorf, Jr. Mason Lopez. Alexandra Marie Lopez. Imani Geraldine Ruth Loudon. Chelsea Nicole Lewis. David Watson Luria. Erica Louise Lovett. Nicholas Cameron Luce. Hillary Kate Laureen Jones. Stephanie Victoria Lustafin. Andrew Stephen Maycutt. Leah Beth Manti. Casey James Marini. Kevin Michael Martland. Darlington James Martor. Isabel Kinsley Marks. Kyle Michael Matson. Ishtiaq Ahmed Mala. Christopher Joseph May. Gerald G. Mays. Charlotte Ashley McCauley. Connor Michael McCormick Kavanaugh. Dana Francis McCoubry. Siobhan Elise McDonald. James John McGill. Julia E. McGinley. Megan Nicole McGrath. Alan Ordman McInerney. Janelle Rose Medeiros. Jessie Brianna Merhoff. James Carmine Messina. Lily Rachel Michaels. Matt Mischi. Paige Leah Miller. Telha Ben Mosen. Melissa Sophia Monsalve. Heather Emily Moore. Katie Allison Morgan. Daniel J. Morisi. Sarah Grace Mullers. Kelsey Wilson Munger Elifson. Alexandra Page Munson. Jackson Hughes Murphy. Penelope Murphy. Georgia Claire Nauman. Schuyler Jude Nazareth. Margaret Carrington Nelson. Which one did I forget? Just get Angela Murphy. It's not on the list. Do you want me to read it now? Graham Perrin Nelson. Trevor Spence Newton. Max Earhart Nichols. Andrew Murphy. Hillary Eve Nygrosh. Seth Alexander Nygrosh. Emily Catherine Nixon. Samuel G. Norcross. Charlotte Page Novak. William Theodore Olson. Thomas Edward Olson. Jenna Louise O'Neill. Evelyn Mary O'Regan. Tyler Austin Osborne. Philip Fleming Theodore Pacelli IV. Juan Pablo Pacheco Bejarano. Phoebe Hannah Papadimitriou. Constantino Papadopoulos. Victoria Ann Folger Pardo. Chelsea Johanna Parrish. Samantha Robin Pass. Camila Isabel Pavia Leone. Randy Michael Pierce. Grace Nicole Perlman. Catherine Elizabeth Schran Pearson. Allison Sarah Peckney. Julian Modesto Perez. Rebecca Marie Perry Torres. Michael John Pachanka. Miles Petricone. Charlotte Catherine Pizer. Kirsten Nelson Flom. Jeffrey Benouf. Julia Marie Pilak. Molly Helen Piper. Sarah Alice Pincus. Lindsay Marie Plasek. Lily Baxter Plotkin. Gabriel Kevin Plummer. Julia Catherine Pope. Lauren Marie Potter. Elizabeth Jane Pratt. Sarah Eliza Price. Daniel Poverant. Colin Cameron Puth. Hannah Lawson Rajabi. Ian David Bray Rathke. Rebecca Stevens Raymond. Daniel Chapin Reardon. Katie Elizabeth Regan. Kevin William Reich. Blake Michael Riley. Andrew John Rentschler. Molly Resnick. David Ikaika Sereno Rex. Chloe Elizabeth Matthews Radigan. Amy Lauren Rich. Maxwell K. Richards. Ian James Richter. Elijah Morgan Reidner. Abigail Mackenzie Ridge. Adam Curtis Rimmer. Jeanette Lynn Rivera. Jason Hunt Robb. Aaron C. Robertson. Jennifer Rodriguez. Alan Huey Clyde Rogers. Monica Gabriela Rohrbach. David Rojas. Lauren Elizabeth Carmela Rosano. Elena Marie Rosario. Jacob Nathan Rosenbaum. Adam Duker Rosenberg. Eric Roseland. Aaliyah Nicole Roth. Kelsey Sullivan Rowe. Derek Michael Roy. Nathan Philip Roy. Sarah Rubino. Caroline A. Ruby. Martina Andrea Rudolph. Patrick John Russo. Dhruv Sahi. Cassandra Lee Simon. Miguel Angel Salcedo. Gabriel David Salk. Rachel Paula Saltzman. Leela Samaru. Laura Rebecca Sanderson. Joseph Jarrett Santulo. Sarah Catherine Shaler. Audrey Chalette. Sarah Beth Schnittman. Allison Leah Schoenhorn. Ian Gordon Philip Schotlander Jr. Lauren Hayes Schumacher. Jacob Paul Schwartz. Corey Decker Searles. Hallie Elizabeth Sellinger. Christina Marie Soretta. Taylor Ann Walsh Serpico. Stephen James Servideo. William Robert Shadbold. Reshma Atul Shah. Michaela Joy Shamash. David Frederick Shanfield. Sarah Elizabeth Shankle. Prima Sharuka. Jody Diane Shearer. Katie Jordan Shernan. Marissa Ann Shields. Patricia Gale Shields. Emily Fairbanks Silber. Laura Michelle Simmons Stern. Michael Anthony Sinsigali. What?
He's here. We had his name here.
Anthony Edwin Sis. John Cochran Sluter. Kyle David Smith. Marissa A. Smith. Louis Soussan. Blair Quimby Southworth. Chloe Sovany Dyroff. Elizabeth Worth Spackman. Lakeisha Allison Springer. Eileen Marie Stahl. Grace Starble. Callie Rose Stavola. Andrew Philip Steele. Andrew Solomon Stein Zeller. Ingmar Holman Sterling. Abigail Price Stevenson. Lydia Christine Eberly Stitzel. Erica Sandra Stockwell Alpert. Lindsay Catherine Stokes. Michelle Amy Strayer. Madeline Rose Stubblefield. Philip H. Stuber. Hillary Jean Sullivan. Carolyn Ann Sundstrom. Noelle Stearns Surprise. Katie Chun Surrey Bergman. Amelia Maureen Taturka. Sarah Taylor. Benjamin Alexander Thaler. Melanie Kara Tebow. Benjamin Fuller Todd. Aina Torres Palhares. Lee Thaxter Tesseris. William T. Tucker. Tyrone Deshawn Turner, Jr. Matthew James Vadas. Cassandra Joanna Valorezo. Myra Valley. Ellen Louise Van Zanten. Molly Faddis. Elizabeth Jean Venuti. Keith Michael Veronese. Olivia Chelsea Valalon Iglesias. Amber Villanueva. Kaylin Marie Vogel. Anna Volpe. Harris Win Vu. Ling Xiao Vu. Nathan Scott Wallace. Gabriella Lisa Wang. Elena Watts Waters. Aubrey Henderson Watson. Claire Angeline Well-Beloved Stone. Virginia Blair West. Catherine Jane Victoria White. Daniel John White. Stephanie Caroline Wilkes. Amy Elizabeth Williams. John Michael Williamson IV. John Brooks Wilson. Jillian Elise Wiseman. Nicole Alyssa Whitko. Thomas Scott Wessner. Laurel Virginia Wolf. Alexander Aaron Wolf. Yue Wu. Harry Jameson Yates. Natasha Chloe Zide. Lu Chen Zhang. Hua Ying Zhao. Callie Jill Zimmerman. Anya Zorek. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduates of the Connecticut College class of 2014. I now have the pleasure of introducing Kenneth R. Cable, President of the Connecticut College Alumni Association, who has a few words to share with the graduates.
Good afternoon and congratulations to the class of 2014. My name is Ken Cable and I'm a member of the class of 1976 and parent of Grace Cable, class of 2012. I currently serve as president of the Alumni Association of Connecticut College. We number over 25,000 with you, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our ranks. Connecticut College is a beautiful and special place. It has had a significant impact on my family. My daughter, my brother, and I have all graduated from here, and that experience has impacted and improved each of our lives. To this day, the friends I made here are the best I have. It was here that I was educated in so many ways, which have stayed with me now for nearly 40 years. Connecticut College is a part of who I am, and I feel a part of its more than 100-year continuum. For the past 4 years, you have been the beneficiary of a rich history steeped in service, integrity, and leadership. My favorite professor here was Mr. Minor Myers, Jr., who wrote, "Go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good." Now it's your turn. I hope that as a Connecticut College graduate, you will honor this beautiful place by going into the world and doing good. After all, that is part of our tradition and education, and it is what graduates were trained to do. I also hope that you'll stay connected to this special place by participating in alumni activities wherever you choose to live, and that you will pay some of what you got forward by supporting the college through the remainder of your lives so that for the next 100 years, others can come here, learn here, and then go out into the world to do good. Godspeed.
Thank you, Ken. And before we conclude, I have one more important set of people to acknowledge. It is the group of people without whom this class of 2014 would not exist. Yes, that's right, the parents and grandparents of the class of 2014. To all of you, yes. I want to say thank you for sending your children and grandchildren to Connecticut College. Thank you and for supporting and nurturing them along the way. Through that nourishment, you have now become camels. And through, I really want to say this, one more thing to ask, and that is, would all of the parents and grandparents and other family members who have been critical to this class's success please stand and be recognized so the class of 2014 can give you their inimitable thanks. Thank you so much. And now I will call on the College Marshal, Ann Devlin, to conclude the ceremony.
I want to remind you that following the ceremony, you are all invited to join us for lunch on the library green. I hope you will be able to join us and meet many of the people who have been important in the lives of today's graduates. And now we will conclude today's celebration in the traditional way, with the singing of the alma mater. To help lead us in this song, Julian Gordon and Philip Pacelli will once again come forward. Following the song, Rabbi Aaron Rosenberg will offer the benediction.
Alma mater by the sea, our hearts in love are lifted to thee. We'll carry your standard forever. Loyalty to CC, faith, friendship, and love. Connecticut College by the sea, your men and women together praise thee. Arboretum, Fanning, and Harkness, there we grew, there we knew work, sharing, and joy. Hail to our college, white and blue, keep through the years all our love deep and true. Our alma mater, we love thee. Ivied walls, CC calls to loyalty true. Connecticut College, liberal arts, you shaped our knowledge, our wisdom, our hearts. Our honor code we will carry to the world, where we'll build trust, justice, and peace.
Shalom and mazel tov to all of the graduates and honorees and their families. By coincidence, today is a Jewish holiday, Lag BaOmer, also known as the Scholars' Festival. How fitting that we express our gratitude to these modern-day scholars as they embark on promising, illustrious careers. One of the scholars of yore, whose words continue to inspire, is the sage Hillel, for whom the new Zach's Hillel House on our campus is named. Permit me then to include 3 quotations from this first-century champion of learning, justice, and peace in this benediction. a one God of all humanity, source of our lives and our minds, as we approach what may be the conclusion of one's formal education, let us not say, I will continue learning when I have leisure. Since leisure may elude us, let us be sure to carve out time to continue growing intellectually. And may we not do unto others what we would not want others to do to us. And lastly, let us take responsibility for our own destinies, but let us never forget our responsibility to others. For if, as Hillel said, I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, then what good am I? And if not now, when? Amen, and congratulations.